I'm so excited. Guys, Musfabulous, but I can't need to I'm like, it's international. Okay, she international.
International.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel, All Things Musfabulous. My name is Musa Jakuja, your host from the most and it's the youth takeover. Boo, 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 boo. Yeah, got my boy, Khanya, with me. But before we get into Kanya's story and what he wants to share with us on this Youth Day, which we're so blessed to actually have him here. My goodness, I'm so excited. So I just want to say thank you to each and every person that has subscribed to this channel. Really, as you know, this channel is all about, the kingdom-minded stuff, bringing positivity into community, and that's what we are here. It is June, it is Youth Month, and this month it is the Youth Takeover. Yes, we're bringing young people, encouraging other young people, and well, we all call ourselves youth, so I'm saying young, encouraging the young. So we like kind of all in the same community, and we are young.
We are. Well, I consider young to be 35 and younger, but
Listen,
many people have different ages. In terms of how they classify that, but 35 and young,
listen,
for me, goes down together.
If you are young here, by the heart, it's all about here.
Yeah, as long as we don't talk ages clearly.
Yeah, no. Definitely. So yes, let's get into it. Khanya, welcome to Musfabulous. Hanu, introduce yourself.
Hey. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here. You're doing so well with your channel. I'm excited to be a part of Youth Month with you and this youth activation that you're doing, where you're motivating young people. And I'm very, very honored that you invited me.
Yay! I am so happy that you are here, Mr. Entrepreneur, Mr. IT Guru. Like, you are just math buff. Take us through all these things that I've just named. Like, take us through your education, because that's what you want to focus on. Because, I mean, without education, like, we can be literally doomed. There's a quote, I forgot how it goes. Umandela normally says that without education, like, we are still in poverty. So we want to get the youth into that space of wanting to better themselves, getting to learn different things and getting to know themselves, being the people that can, So yeah, take us through. Khanya, as the math buff.
The math buff, they call me the math guru. There's literally an article that was written by the Herald, which is like the biggest newspaper in the Eastern, and they were like, math guru goes to Colombia. I'll tell you all about that. But I firstly grew up in Port Elizabeth, was raised by a single mom. I have an older brother and older sister. And grew up in a pretty chilled environment in terms of, where I was, like the things that you like as kids, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, big Pokemon.
Yeah, playing Pokemon outside. Those are the things I used to do. Formerly known as Port Elizabeth. Yeah. And I had a mom who really encouraged me when it comes to education, and encouraged us. And my mom just wanted us to be independent. Yeah. So she was building us for the future and wanted us to focus on education, because she had always said to us, I don't want any one of you when I'm not here to lean on any of your other siblings. I want you all to be able to stand on your own. And she felt and knew for her that the ticket to that is education. And in our cases, it has been. I had a maths teacher who really focused on me in primary school. And he zoomed in on me and saw potential in me. And I never knew that I'd be as good as I am at maths. but it's so interesting. As a child, it just takes one person to believe in you. And even as an adult, that teacher really believed in me. He really pushed me. And with him, after he really saw the potential I had in terms of mathematics, my marks went from like the 70s to like the 90s. And it really just really took me to the next level in terms of my math skills. And it's because he saw something in me. And from there, it was this journey that I had with mathematics that I've had since, you know, primary school, and him zooming in on me. I had another teacher in high school, Mrs. Emery as well, who, you know, was like, hey, Khanya, you should apply for the International Mathematics Olympiad, which took place in India.
Wow.
So I had to go through a couple of rounds with that. And do so that I could qualify, and I actually qualified. And she also believed in me as well. And I mean, I had already had the boost of belief from my teacher from primary school. So I had some, you know, self-belief that I had got from my teacher that really shifted me. And then I had another teacher, fortunately, who believed in me as well. And that combined with the self-belief I had developed from my teacher from primary school, resulted in me literally going to India because I worked hard. I qualified. I didn't think that I could, but I did it. And I was part of the second International Mathematics Olympiad and represented South Africa in India when I was in grade, I think it was 2006.
In grade 9.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yo, top 2 in India.
Yeah, I was in India, had the best experience of my life. That was my first international trip. Had the best time of my life learning about people who live there, seeing how they live, seeing how, you know, you think sometimes it's bad in your country because of what you're exposed to. And of course, bad is relative. But I think when I was there, I was like, yo, you know, some people really have it worse. And I think it speaks to being grateful sometimes when, you know, you feel like, hey, I don't have much. But you can find much in little if you're grateful.
Love that.
And literally, that's kind of what I saw and got from that when I was in India. Fast forward, I grow a love for dramatic arts as well. In high school, I told you about this. And these massive marks for dramatic arts and mathematics, I was doing well. And I was so confused about, you know, what I'm gonna do with my life. I wanted to explore maybe dramatic arts. And I had a mom who was like, Khanya, you're so smart. With regard to, not that dramatic arts people are not smart, but you have a skill that's scarce. How about you use that? Because there's literally an open market in the mathematics field, because there's not many people who are good at it. And in your case, you are. And I mean, I'm glad that I took the journey that I took, that my mom led me to. Because I have literally seen the amount of opportunities that have opened for me because of the journey that I've taken. Because I ended up studying a degree in mathematical statistics, mathematics, computer science, and applied maths. So that was a BSc. And I went on to do so well there. I did my honors in mathematical statistics and got cum laude for my honors. And
well done to you.
Thank you so much. I literally did that through, it's so important to work hard, and also to have friends who are on the same wavelength as you are, because I literally used to study with one of my friends like all of the time. We'd be studying for hours, like from 12 o'clock in the day to like 11 o'clock at night. We're studying together.
Whoa.
Because we both wanted to do well. And, you know, calculus in varsity is not calculus in high school. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
And we had to study and work hard and practice. And as you know, maths is about practice. Had to practice so much, work so hard, and it paid off.
Yeah.
And went on to lecture a little in varsity, and then went to Cape Town for my first job as a data analyst. That's basically a career in statistics for young people who don't know, who are watching. It's a very scarce skill. I would encourage the young people who are watching to actually look into data science, because it's a very, very scarce skill. People who do it are usually people who study mathematical statistics, or people who go into actuarial science as well, sometimes land up in this career. Sometimes engineers also land up in this career because of how critical they are in terms of thinking. So they learn quickly when it comes to coming into a data science career. And I went on to be a business analyst. I moved to Joburg, and became, after that, a quantitative analyst, which is close to what I do now. It's also a part of statistics as well, which statistics looks at predictions, basically, where you use numbers and data to predict if Umusa is likely to go onto that homepage on Instagram, for example. They use data for that. So they look at everything you're clicking at, and sometimes we are behind that, like the systems that operate there. Because it's IT and mathematics linked into one. So using data, using how, you know, people like literally click on certain things and then they show you those things, they advertise those things. That's using data, for example. Like, for example, you know, when you go on Google, Google properties in Johannesburg, and then all of a sudden you see,
and you get
on
emails
Instagram
and Facebook, you get all these property things.
Exactly. That's data. So it's all connected, and that's what you know, people in my field kind of use to bring profit into an organization, or to safeguard an organization from losing money. So basically looking at human behavior and looking at various things, but using data. And that's how I got into this career.
Can I quickly ask you something? Because now I know high school has maths lit. How will they get into such a field? Because I mean, you're talking about maths. Our maths wasn't like maths lit. It was like actual maths with numbers. So it's never used to be like, you know, it used to be numerical. So now how does a child watching this saying, sure, that's an interesting field to go into, but I'm doing this maths lit. Will maths lit be able to get me to what you're talking about, you know?
No.
Sure.
Not as far as I know, because I mean, I don't know the contents of Maths Lit, but I remember in my time when I was in high school, because they introduced Maths Lit when I was still in high school.
Okay.
And literally at that time, people who did Maths Lit were not a part of people who could get into a career that is within mathematical statistics or mathematics.
So do you still think there's like higher grade maths, and then there will be standard grade, and that will be like maths lit? That's what I'm assuming.
So I don't even know how higher grade was, because I didn't do high grade. So when I first was in high school, there was like literally, when I started in high school, there was literally just mathematics, core mathematics. And then Maths Lit got introduced. So I never got to experience, for example, I wasn't in the class of people who did Maths Lit, and I guess I wasn't exposed to what they did.
Yeah.
And the same with higher grade and standard grade. I don't know the differences between that because I was never exposed to it. But what I do know is that you couldn't qualify to get into a career in a BSc Maths, for example, with Maths Lit.
Yeah.
And of course, there were reasons for that. Maybe because, you're not well equipped enough then in high school to get into this level of mathematics that will be introduced in this degree. So I don't know how it is now, but I don't think that would be the case where if you do Maths Lit, that you can get into a career in data science. And maybe, I think that's the thing when it comes to choosing your subjects. There are certain subjects that are actually very limiting. When it comes to, because in grade, for example, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I really wanted to open my choice wide. With regards to when I get to grade 12, I want to be able to say, if I want to do journalism, I can do it. If I want to do accounting, I'll be able to do it. So I really consulted with a couple of people to ask, with accounting in university, what are the prerequisites? What do I need? What subjects do I need? With this career? So the careers I was thinking about with regards to, maybe I could at some point consider going into them, because we change so much, for example, as people. So in grade 10, you can be like, I want to be a vet. And then you find that the time you get to grade 11, you want to be something else. So I would encourage, if someone's in high school, rather choose subject choices, even if some of them are difficult, that open up your choices a bit wider. You find that the subjects that are considered as hard are the subjects that usually open up your choices a bit wider. With regards to when you get to matric, and the choices that you get to make, because there's certain subjects that are very limiting in terms of what you can choose once you get to grade 12. Unless you're 100% sure, which is usually a few people. It's the Beyoncés, who knew that they wanted to be singers from a very
day
early
one.
age, but
From day one.
But not everyone has that journey. With some of us, it's like a shift and a change, and so I would really advise. And usually those subjects that open up your choices a bit wider are like physics, core mathematics. Accounting, you don't really need to have as a prerequisite to actually do accounting, which is great. I don't know if it's still like that, but when I was in high school, I didn't do it. So it's getting that research and asking, especially if you're in grade 9, and taking advice from elders as well. And what I did with myself quickly, I made sure that I added a subject that I liked, but didn't necessarily open up the choices wider. But because I had other subjects like physics and mathematics, it kind of made up for it. And that subject was dramatic arts. That's where I got to learn about speaking, confidence. And I learned a different skill to the other subjects that I learned. And it was a fun subject. So I kind of got fun and I got seriousness in my high school journey. So
basically choose wisely. Choose wisely. If you are in grades, what is it, grade 9? Next standard 7. A lot now.
Yeah.
This is the age, the standards. If you are
Yeah,
in
no, it's
grade
grade
9.
9. It's grade 9. Choose wisely, because you just don't know. Because we change as people, really. Like, you can feel like you want to be a teacher, and then that changes. You can feel like you want to be a mathematical statistician, and that changes as well. And then, if you at least kind of balance yourself, I feel like it puts you in good stead to have all of these different skills and all of these different and wide choices when it comes to what you can do.
Sure. That's such a great advice, Khanya, what you've just brought to our attention right now, because um, what I'm getting in terms of encouragement, like when you have one person that believes in you, don't chase them away. I think in the previous video, Usamke mentioned that there will always be that one, right? And here you are saying the very same thing, saying there will always be that one person that believes in you. Don't chase them away. Just like seek guidance, And the other thing that you brought to our attention, that working hard is very important. Focus. All these things, like in nice life, will always be here. You can study hard, make sure you consult each and every person that's around you, like your adults, people that have gone before you, your brothers, your sisters. I mean, whoever is around you that can be able to give you sound advice, and in nice time after this, like you can even ask Ukanya, now that he's done all that studying and everything, he can still have a nice time. You know what I mean? Go out with friends, it's still there. It's not like it's going away. So I think also the peer pressure around gets most people into the gutter of, I'll never amount to anything, so let me just rather stick here. So let's just change our perspective, in terms of bringing that fun back in terms of education. I love the fact that my guests, here are actually, talking about education. That is very key. It's very important. Not to say that as Nyizindo, they are not important. I can just easily bring out a guest that can talk about just life in general, which is still coming. I can't wait for that one. And but here, let's just get what the message is. If there's one person, make sure that like be alert in terms of what is happening. Make sure you work hard. Make sure you consult someone so that you can make wise choices. If you are in grade 9, that is where you can choose, your subjects very well. But I mean, if you are in grade 12 and you're like, it's probably too late now, you can still make your choices in varsity. I know it's not gonna help much. You can't do like statistics, a varsity, knowing that you have done like what business subjects. You never know. Kumone, when you apply, so for those of us that did not apply for a tertiary, once you get into tertiary and the courses that you want to do are fully not fully booked. What is the English word? Mathematics.
What are you trying?
Like I'm trying
fully packed, or they are.
Yeah,
there's no space in
there's
them?
no space in those classes.
Okay,
yeah, I want to say there's no space in those
like
classes.
full admission.
Yeah, now it's English, full admission. So got you, babe. So like you will always maybe like get a chance for you to say, oh, maybe let me look at IT. You might find something there. So there will always be an opportunity for you to make the right choices. So you just need to be alert in terms of where you are and how you can actually say, if that doesn't work, doesn't mean like that door is completely shut. Let me, try and go to another one. So yeah, I'm just loving this conversation. It's making me like, think. I just love this part of this conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in terms of
And nothing
encouragement,
is
yeah, go
nothing is
ahead.
ever wasted. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Nothing's ever wasted as well. You know, like everything you do is there for a particular reason. For
yeah.
example, you have Oprah Winfrey, who was a news anchor. She didn't
Mm.
really like it. She had a moment where, you know, her whole news anchor career, she was trying to be Barbara Walters and trying to speak like her,
Wow.
say things like her. Barbara Walters is like a legend when it comes to news anchoring in
Yes.
America. And Oprah literally used to watch her and try to be like her. And she had a moment in news where she slipped up and she called Canada, and she
Mm-hmm.
started laughing. And she had a moment where she was completely herself, because
Yeah.
in a news anchor usually doesn't laugh. They're very proper. They have to keep a straight face. And in that moment, she realized that she she literally doesn't have to be like anybody else. And in
Yeah.
that moment, her true self came out. And that's the moment that literally led her to that talk show direction. And
Yeah.
so you can be doing something sometimes and you think that that thing is literally a waste of your time. But if you give your best with everything you do, you'll realize that, and in time,
Yeah.
when time goes on, you'll realize when you look back that, oh, that was actually not a waste of time. Like everything is what I make it in life, and
Yeah.
everything is leading you to your destiny.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Like you get bits and pieces of your life. Um, and when you're much older, you look back and you're like, actually, it wasn't a waste of time. You know what I mean? Even me doing these videos and starting a YouTube channel, and still I'm in, an accounting side professionally, internal auditing. So it's not like you cannot try all these things. Make sure that you put 100% in everything you do. That's the hard work, that goes into that. So you never know. I mean, your girl can be
Hey,
Oprah Otile, you know what I mean? Like,
you are,
and
you are.
so it's not like it's limiting me not to start my own M network. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
yeah, but it has to start somewhere. It has to start somewhere. Exactly.
And I really love that you're using your passions, and you're
Yeah.
using, what you really, really love to do. And
Mm.
it's so inspirational that you're doing that, because
Sure.
you're feeding your soul and you're using a gift that God has given you. And you're
Yeah.
saying, like, God, I don't want to leave any part of me not wasted. Every time you switch on this camera and you literally talk to Usam, you talk to me, or you talk to somebody else,
Yeah.
you are saying, God, use me. This is my gift.
Yeah.
I am an encourager. I am a lifter. I
Mm.
I am your vessel, and I want to impart into the world. And it's inspirational because you're living a purposeful life.
Yeah.
And I think
Sure.
that's the that's the direction that God has intended for all of us, to look at our gifts, and never forget them and use them for a purpose that's bigger than ourselves. And
Love
that's
that.
what you're doing.
Sure.
And it's very, very inspiring.
Oh wow! Thank you so much, Kanye. When as you're talking, I'm just thinking, Lord, open up more talents because I don't want to be lying 6 feet under. And God is like, what a waste, you know. I I I don't want that, So it's just one of those things where I explore. If God gives me something to do, He's got a reason why that I'm in all these sort of things, like just any one of us that is watching this video right now, as we said, that nothing that you do is a waste, so take note, guys, write down, journal, and one day you will know why you were in a particular moment. Sure, this is such an amazing conversation. I can't believe like we're in it. How many minutes that are we in? I don't even know. But
feels like 2 minutes.
Right? It just does. But I mean, your last few words, of encouragement, encouraging the youth out there, like what would be um your closing comment or your closing encouragement to someone that is watching, that is feeling hopeless at this moment, right? And they're like, I don't think I'm gonna make it, so I might as well just sleep up until my last breath, or I might as well just chill. Because I mean, ukwabantu guys that are making it, doing TikTok, YouTube, whatever. So it's not like there's this vast of things that you can do. But it's just that, as we said, like hard work is so important. It's so important, and putting your all into something, But what would be your closing remarks or comments?
My closing remark would be, firstly, for somebody who's hopeless, it gets better. Might look a particular way now, it might look dark, but there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Come on.
There's a lot going on social media that we see from many different people. People look happy.
Sure.
Does not necessarily mean that they are. People look like they're more successful than you. Does not necessarily mean that they are. Don't envy and compare your life with the life that's not yours, because your life is remarkable as it is. It's special as it is. It's complete as it is. It's whole as it is. And don't let the hype of what you see and the shiny things distract you from your journey. And to compare yourself is violence to yourself.
Compare yourself is violence to yourself.
It's violence to yourself.
Sure.
So be yourself, be in your journey, be present in it. Know that you're exactly where you're meant to be, because every single thing that's happened has led you to where you are now, and is a part of the revelations that you're having now. It's led to the revelations that you have now about yourself, about maybe some of the things you want to achieve or some of the things you have to do. So as much as I say work hard, also take it easy and release the pressures of a parent perfection that come from all these images that we get from social media or television. So those would be my parting words with every single young person who's watching, and to say all the best and good luck, and give yourself a pat in the back for being where you are, because you've survived so much already.
Sure.
And you're gonna conquer so much more.
You're talking to me right there. Ooh. Okay, now let's just.
Friend.
Oh no, goodness, that is just so
Gonna make
amazing.
me cry.
Wow, thank you so much. Those words are just so powerful. They just like they're doing something in me, you know, because we're all looking for perfection, but it's not what you're going to get on social media, on all these other platforms. Um, yeah, I
To me
just
as well.
love
To me
what
as
you just,
well. You know, a lot of the messages we share for ourselves too.
yeah, sure. Wow. Well, Khanya Mkoto, thank you, darling, for coming through.
Amy.
I truly appreciate you for just, you know, taking up that phone call and be like, hey, why not? You know, I truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate it. And I mean, if we had like more and more time, I should call you on Blossom to share your young catalyst. You being that, you know, entrepreneur
Hey,
and
we can actually even have a conversation on the young catalyst. So
yeah,
yeah,
that would be so awesome. And I mean, also
yeah.
just to go into exactly what the other fields are, you know, because that's what your platform attracts as well, you know, that as a young person that wants to make it at a specific area, you know, that's what Young Catalyst is all about. So I can't wait for our next session.
I can't
um,
wait to.
yeah, this is so
Thank you
good.
so much for inviting me. I'm always happy when I see you. You are such
Aw.
a ball of sunshine.
Oh,
And
babe.
I just literally light up.
Oh,
So
thank
thank
you
you so much for
so
inviting me.
much. It's a pleasure. It's an absolute, I'm actually
And
so happy that you're here.
yeah, I know I wouldn't have spent my lunch break in between working in any other way. Literally.
Oh,
This was perfect.
yay. So happy. So, people, please do subscribe, like, share, do the damn thing on the socials. And they must click, you know almost how they do, click that subscribe and they don't know where is the subscribe button. Yeah, it's the subscribe button and the notification bell to get to know all the
And
other, and
share the
share.
conversation.
You know, it's if it's not for you, okay, but do share to your other people. You know, someone might need this, someone might need this. But other than that, thank you very much for tuning on Musfabulous. We will see you on the next video. Bye.